What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to The Nerdy Narrative, a channel where I like to talk about all of the things that I read. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. Instead of what I've read, I'm going to show you some of my favorite limited edition copies of books that I own. And there are some that I have that I haven't read yet, which I know some of you are thinking to yourselves, that's crazy. Why on earth would you spend good money on a limited edition book if you haven't read it yet? Well, I know myself pretty doggone well, and I can usually tell by reading a description or if I know the author really well. If an author has 30 books and I've read 25 and I've loved all 25, the probability of me loving 26 is really high. So I wasn't willy-nilly about it, but all else fails, if I did read it and didn't like it, I shouldn't have a problem reselling it. Let's start with horror. So the first limited edition here I have is Westlake Soul by Urs, and this book is absolutely gorgeous. And I will have all of these linked in the description box down below if you want to check them out on Goodreads or Amazon and see what they're about. I'd be here all day if I tried to tell you the premise of all of these, but this one here I absolutely love. It's a special edition. I have copy number 158 of 400. It is signed by the author Urs and Owen King, but it is just absolutely gorgeous. And I forgot to show you the front cover here. It's the cloth bound, and what I love about this one is it has color in it as well, so the chapter headings are in red. This one is gorgeous, and this is one I haven't read yet, but I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Now my next horror limited edition is a favorite. This is a treasure. This was actually a gift to me from my friend Evie from the channel She Was Only Evie, and it is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is the book that started my obsession, my love for everything written by Stephen Graham Jones. And it is absolutely gorgeous. And again, this is limited to 400 copies. I have number 115, also signed by the author, and it is gorgeous. This one has illustrations, and I am in love with the fact that it's also cloth, and it's this beautiful baby blue color. It is gorgeous. This one is one that I just look at, I just pick up and touch all the time. And absolutely, the next time I read this book, I will read this edition. You know, I am not one of those that spends good money on books just to look at them. I will be reading them. But this is just one of the illustrations. It's my favorite. If you've read this story, then you know the significance of the different people that are in that one. Oh, I just love this book so much. A recent addition is The Blade Itself by Crombie, another favorite author. I have read all of the First Law books, the follow-up trilogy, the standalones. This, of course, you've probably seen all over social media. It's the first book in the Broken Binding. It's a UK independent bookstore online. This is their subscription service book, and it is gorgeous. I love what they did with the front cover of the hardback, which also has a partial quote on it. Got stenciled edges, and then of course it is also numbered and signed by the author. I have also purchased the other two books in this trilogy. They have not arrived yet, which is a complaint I have for the Broken Binding with their subscription service. It is my humble opinion. I am not a business person. I haven't been trained. I didn't go to college and learn about it. In my opinion, since you're going to do a numbered, signed subscription service, like they limited it to 1,500. In my opinion, they should have had the first trilogy. Since they're going to do series, they're going to try to keep it to smaller ones like trilogies. In my opinion, you should have had that first trilogy already printed, numbered, signed, ready to ship when you started the series. As it was, I had paid for 3 months worth of subscription before I got the first book. So I wasn't too keen on that, and it's especially expensive for those of us who live out here in the US. And so next I have the illustrated deluxe edition of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I love the front cover. The slip cover has a little cutout so you see the eye once it's in there. I love the beautiful pages, and then of course it has the same layout as Westlake Soul. The print is in black, but the headers are all in red. And then we have the illustrations that are going to be throughout. They're supposed to be of the authors. This book is so beautiful that it makes me excited to reread the series yet again. So I'm planning to do that sometime soon. And yes, I will be reading it from this copy right here. Next here, I have the 30th edition, the special edition of The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I love this book. My mass market paperback, which is the original paperback that I first purchased when the series began. I have read it so many times that if you open it up, the pages do fall out. I love how this one's blue with the red writing on the front of it, and we've got the little Tarvalon symbol on the front of the wheel. I love this book. I think it is gorgeous. It smells really good, even though I've had it a couple of years now, and I'm looking forward to rereading it yet again, which I think is going to be next year. I'm going to read it with my friends Kate and Stacy. Hopefully. If all goes right, I'm going to reread it with them next year. And then sneaking into the urban fantasy side of things, I do have this special copy of Stormfront by Jim Butcher. Now this copy was supposed to be given out, sold at a particular con that Jim was going to be at, but it got canceled due to the pandemic, and so they sold the copies to us little people out in the wild. But the dust jacket is the only thing that's cool about it. Like, it doesn't have stencil pages, and it doesn't have illustrations or anything else about it, but you cannot get hard copies of the Dresden Files anymore, not without spending close to $200 per book. So it was kind of nice to get a hardback copy, and I absolutely love the cover. It ties into something you find out later in the series, and I just thought that was really clever. Here is another recent pickup. I read and reviewed, which I'll link above, Waking Ursa Minor by Helen Peterson. It's the first book in her new epic fantasy series, Riverdale Rising. So one reason that I requested the ARC is because I loved this cover. I thought the cover was gorgeous. I thought it was interesting. But then I saw the naked hardback and I knew I had to have this one instead of the paperback. Now, if you haven't read the story, the cover might not make a whole lot of sense, but one of the elements in this world is when you are born, there is a person who has tapped into the world's magic that makes what is called a totem. It's so good. It's so good. I love this story. I love this book. I cannot wait to reread this one. I am eagerly awaiting book 2 of the series. The next one I have not read yet. I can't believe I still have not read Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I do have here the 10th anniversary edition. It was a special gift from a friend of mine. It is beautiful. I absolutely love the cover, but my goodness, look at those beautiful red pages. I don't know why, but primary colors are just absolutely gorgeous to me. Now this one I don't believe has any type of illustrations, but I do really like the font that they chose. Oh wait, I lied. There are illustrations in here. They snuck in there and hid from me. I've got to get this one read. I really need to prioritize that one. I know this one is a very popular book for the fantasy community. It has a huge community just around that series, period. So I need to get in on that sooner rather than later. Next, you guys knew there had to be some Sanderson in this video somewhere talking about fantasy. I do have here the leather-bound Way of Kings. I think my favorite part about these is, well, beside the smell of the leather, are the backs. On this one, we have the Ancient Oaths, and on the back of this one, it says, Speak Again, the Ancient Oaths. But the pages are gorgeous. Love the texture, but instead of red, we have blue chapter headers. We do have illustrations, and you can rest assured that when I reread The Way of Kings, getting ready for book 5 in Stormlight Archives, I will be reading these beautiful, beautiful leather-bound covers. Now, the last fantasy one that I have here is the special illustrated edition of the Harry Potter series. Now, currently, I believe there are 4 out. The 5th one comes out later this year. Now, there are illustrations all throughout these books because they're the illustrated versions, right? I cannot wait to, oh wow, like this is chock full of illustrations, like almost on every page. And the books themselves are each different colors. I know one of the other ones over there is purple. Like I said, the 5th one comes out this year, and in September, Kate from the Literary Apothecary, she and I are going to be co-hosting a read-along of specifically the illustrated version of these books. So if you're interested in joining us for that, that's going to start in September, and we'll of course have an announcement video prior to that to remind everyone. Now, this next book that I'm going to show you is actually classified science fiction. I disagree. I actually put it in my fantasy section. That's Gideon the Ninth by Tamsen Muir. There is 1 or 2 minute mentions of space. After that, it's never mentioned again. This book I somehow looked up on. I want to say if you pre-ordered or something of that nature, you got this version where the pages are black. It's got the black skull on the front. I mean, just look how freaking cool that is. Unfortunately, Heir the Ninth was not that way. I think you had to get some book subscription to get that one, and I am not about that life. I did think about it, but I'm glad I didn't because most people don't seem to have been a big fan of Heir the Ninth. I haven't read that one yet because every time I think about reading it, I reread Gideon the Ninth, and I love this one so much, and then I never make it past this one to get on to Harrow. But getting into science fiction limited editions that I love, let's talk about this Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. The Expanse series, I haven't read all of the books yet. I have watched the series in its entirety. I'm a huge fan. I have read Leviathan Wakes, and I'm happy to say that the show matches up almost seamlessly. Perfection. It's one of the best adaptations to film I've ever seen. I love this book. Now, is pink my favorite color? No, it's alright. But my goodness, on a book, it's gorgeous. I love it. I also love the really nice touch that even though you're getting just a regular black hardback, they went a little step further and put that glossy pink on the front of it. That is just so gorgeous. I could just look at it all day. Now, the next one I have seen on so many other booktuber shelves as I watch their videos. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this version. It's Frank Herbert's Dune. I love the beautiful blue on the pages. One thing I like about this one, again, sure, we got your run-of-the-mill standard black hardback, but I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it says in indentions, "Fear is the mind killer," which is a famous quote from the story. It's kind of like one of those one-liners like from The Gunslinger. The man in black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. It's one of those that even if you've not read the book, the line is so well known that you know where it came from. And then my very last limited or special anniversary edition that I love is Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire, which is the original Thrawn trilogy. What I love most about this one is not the dust jacket. Nope. It is the naked hardback. And I will alternate between which I choose to display. Look how cool that is. Isn't that awesome? I love the attention to detail. I think that is just absolutely gorgeous. And with this one, that will wrap up this video. These are all of the special signed number limited anniversary edition books that I have that are my favorites. Let me know in the comments down below some of your favorite special editions that you have and why. Is it because it's an author that you love? Is it a book you have read many, many times? What is it about a book that will have you racing to make sure you pre-order a special copy for yourself? Friends, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my beautiful favorites. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.